welcome. It's now 7:30, so time for us to begin. Welcome to the 2023 AV Spring National Showcase. I'd first like to thank our three judges, Keith Seidel, Sally Hinton and Trish McCausland, for doing a fantastic job. We really appreciate the time and the effort and the amount of energy that goes into judging so many AVs. So we really appreciate that, and they did a terrific job, as I hope you'll all agree today. I'd also like to thank the APS office, that is Stella and Renee, for their great help in getting everything set up. And now a word from our sponsor. I'd like to welcome the president of the APS, Greg McMillan, who will say a few words of welcome. Over to you, Greg.
Thank you very much, Dale, and hello, everyone. It feels like about 3 months ago that we did this 12 months ago. The year has just flown ahead, and I've just got back from Vietnam a couple of days ago, so I'm still catching my breath. Now, 12 months ago, I made a very public commitment and said, in 2023, I'm going to do a photo book and submit a photo book, and I did. It may not have been a particularly good one, but I threw one in. I figured, well, I should lead by example. So I'm going to make a very public statement here today, Dale. I'm going to put my first ever AV in 2024. And it will be around my recent trip to Vietnam.
Excellent.
Which was both a combination of work and pleasure. So why not? Let's have a crack at it. I always enjoy the AV because I think the quality of work that's done is fantastic. And again, looking forward to another good session tonight. Simply wanted to say to everyone, it's been a big year in many ways for the APS. It's been a big year for members. But thank you, Dale, for, again, taking a lead role around the AV. Thank you, everyone who participates in AV. I know it's not necessarily the highest profile activity we do in many ways, but if we don't keep on pushing it and don't keep on promoting it, it will fall off the back of the truck. And to give you an example of how important this stuff is, while I was in Sapa last week, I met a local photographer who had been a club member for many years in Sapa. And in 2013, they produced, in this case, it was a photo book, not an AV, a photo book on Sapa's history. So the earliest image in this photo book was done in the 1890s. And there's images from the 1930s, 1950s, and 1970s, as well as up until the more recent times. Limited edition, not available anywhere else. And I was gifted the last sealed copy. So I have this magnificent book that is there that I don't think anyone else in Australia would have, simply because some people took the time to produce something that was visually available, in this case in print, but it could easily have been in AV. So I thank you guys for doing what you're doing and keep on encouraging you to do so more in the future. And I'll be a nominee for next year. I'll be at the bottom of the pile, but at least I'll be sticking one in. Dale, on that, again, thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words. And if I don't see anyone before Christmas, bearing in mind it's getting very close, have a safe Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you in 2024. For those of you who have had LAPS, MAPS, APS and FAPS or so forth in the last 12 months, hopefully I'll see you in a few weeks' time at the recognition awards night for that in early December, I think. So otherwise, yeah. I shall now go quiet, Dale, and hand back over to you and leave the night to yourself.
Thank you very much, Greg. Really appreciate that you've taken the time. Tonight, I should point out, we should finish within the hour. So I expect to finish by about 8:30. One of the reasons we're quicker tonight is because there's none of the judges are in attendance and won't be speaking to the images as in previous years. But I have a short 2 or 3 minute script, if you will, from the judges to present at the very end as a summary of their findings. So without further ado, we'll move on to cover the acceptances. The AVs that were not accepted won't be shown. There are no records kept of those. So firstly, let's go through. You won't be seeing the AVs for the acceptances. I'll just be summarising them. And the first of those is A Great Invention by Anne Dakin. Congratulations, Anne. Bath Time at the Beach by Anne Pappalardo. Well done, Anne. Bus Drive by Graham Phillips. Well done, Graham. Royal Botanic Gardens, Cranbourne, by David Shetland. Well done, David. Flamenco, Art, Soul, Passion and Dance, by Helene Den. Well done, Helene. Glossy Black Cockatoos, by Anne Pappalardo. Well done, Anne. India, A Land of Contrasts, by David Shetliff. Good work, David. The King of Kings Beach, by Anne Pappalardo. Well done, Anne, and I'd like to point out to everyone, this particular AV did win the gold medal in last year's Autumn National, and that's the nature of judging. Sausages, by Cynthia Henley Smith. Well done, Cynthia. I really enjoyed this one because I really like sausages. Seeing is Believing, by John Hodgson. Well done, John. I Used to Be a Selfie Snob, by Elizabeth Riley. Well done, Elizabeth. I really did enjoy this one. Seek Him, by David Shetliff. Again, well done, David. Streets, by David Shetliff. Good work, David. The Bridge, by myself and Rob Morgan. And thank you to Rob for all of his great photos. The Copper Triangle, by John and Judith Hodgson. Well done, John and Judith. The Cotton Castle of Turkey, by Alia. Well done, Alia. The Middle of Everywhere, by Ruth Burley. But this was a club effort from the Warragul Camera Club that Ruth is a member of. And so there are many members' photos in this one. So it's great to see a whole of club AV like this. Well done, Ruth. The Wedding Whisperer Who Travels, by Joy Melchiori. Well done, Joy. 2.5 Hours, by Cynthia Henley Smith. William Ricketts Sanctuary, by Alia Norton. Well done, Alia. So we now move on to the merits. So the first of the merits goes to Alia Norton for Nature's Embrace. Congratulations, Alia.
Take me to the forest green. I need to feel their healing balm, to soak in groves of dappled sheen and wallow in their soothing calm. Take me to the mountains high. I need to stretch and strain and strive, to rise up where the eagles fly and burst with joy to be alive. Take me to the wilderness. I need the space to be alone, to tap the vein of nature's bliss and slip into the mindful zone. Take me to the beach's gold. I need to feel the sun's warm rays, to dive into the ocean's cold and drift on lunar tidal sways. Take me to the valleys cool. I need to rest within their shade, to cast ideas into a pool and watch them ripple till they fade. Take me to the desert sand. I need to clear my cluttered mind, to see the beauty in the bland and treasure secrets that I find. Take me to the alpine snow. I need to breathe its pristine chill, to thaw my soul while embers glow and feel the pure adrenal thrill. Take me into nature's arms. I need to feel her love embrace, to shelter from life's daily harms and gaze upon her wizened face.
Well done, Alia. That was really lovely. Beautiful photography. Moving on. Sagrada Familia by John Hodgson. Congratulations, John. Up to your usual exceptional standard in photography and AV making. Really well done. Next, we move on to This is Miyajima. Congratulations, Wal.
This is Miyajima. This is God's island, an island of life and living. Death is prohibited. There is no cemetery. Ill people or those who are dying are transferred to Hiroshima. Women leave to give birth elsewhere. If someone has an accident and is bleeding, care is taken so that no blood touches the ground. Virtually all the island is covered by forest, God's forest. Only in exceptional circumstances is a tree felled. There are no houses in the forest area. Some religious structures are at the edges. The houses and commercial buildings are on a narrow coastal strip between the forest and the sea. A large area of land appears as the tide recedes. It is on this that the Isukushima Shrine and its Torii Gate have been built. Everything is well maintained. There are thousands of visitors every day, including school groups. At low tide, people can walk out to the Torii. A ferry visits the Torii when the tide is in. The whole complex is lit until late, and people who stay overnight can enjoy beautiful scenes. This is God's island. This is Miyajima.
Well done, Wal. That was fantastic. And you've done several beautiful AVs about Japan now. So it's lovely to see this one. Next, we have What Happened to the B-17-909. Okay.
The B-17 bomber played a major role in World War II. 12,700 were produced during the war, but by late 2019, there were only 9 flying B-17s left anywhere in the world. Nicknamed the Flying Fortress because she just bristled with 50 caliber machine guns, front, back, sides, top and bottom. This is the story of the B-17 Warbird designated 909 and begs the question, what happened to her? The 909 was flown under a living history flight license of World War II vintage aircraft, taking aircraft enthusiasts on short flights. The B-17 and B-24 Liberator bomber are shown here. The fleet also included the B-25 Mitchell bomber and the P-51 Mustang. All these aircraft are priceless. This is one such living history flight taken by the author from Moffett Field in California in 2016. The aircraft was manufactured in 1944 and flew operationally until 1986. It has been fitted out with original World War II equipment and livery. The pilot, Ernest Mack Macaulay, was as old as the aircraft itself and probably the most experienced pilot in the world of B-17s. All the crew, including the pilot, are volunteers, but what a dream job. It was an unforgettable experience. Jumping forward to 2019, after some engine start problems that should have necessitated a more thorough test procedure, Mack the pilot took 10 passengers and 2 additional crew on a similar flight from Bradley Field in Connecticut. In minutes, the plane developed engine problems, and Mack requested a return to the field.
Tower, Boeing 93012 entering the downwind for 06.
Number 93012, Bradley Tower, wind calm, runway 6, clear to land.
That was the last we ever hear from Mack.
I'm on scene. I got confirming aircraft into a building, heavy fire.
The aircraft crashed while landing, with the loss of 7 lives, including 2 of the 3 crew and 5 of the 10 passengers. The aircraft was completely destroyed. The National Transport Safety Board's 25th March 2021 preliminary report points to a combination of mishaps and mistakes that appear to have contributed to the tragedy. Both starboard engines appear to have become disabled soon after takeoff, making the aircraft difficult to control and maintain altitude. One engine may have been mistakenly turned off. The engine firing mechanisms appear to have been inadequately maintained. Landing gear was lowered prematurely, causing excessive drag and further loss of altitude. The aircraft came down short of the runway and veered off to the right, crashing into large tanks at the edge of the runway. Several of the deceased appear to have been trapped in the burning aircraft, unable to unbuckle the vintage seat belts. Finally, the Federal Aviation Authority itself may not have monitored and enforced its own safety and maintenance standards for this aircraft since 2017. An inevitable outcome will be that the heritage aircraft flights will become more tightly controlled in the future, which is a small price to pay for safety and the preservation of these priceless aircraft.
Oh, what can I say? I went on that flight in 2016 with my brother and my son. And so we were very sad to hear of it crashing within a couple of years. And we'd met the pilot and talked with the pilot. So very sad. Moving on then to the Herbert medallions. We've got 3 Herbert medallions to present tonight, and they also get merits as an award. And the first of those goes to Graham Phillips for his The Best Country.
Imagine trying to live in a world dominated by dihydrogen oxide, a compound that has no taste or smell and is so variable in its properties that it is generally benign, but at other times swiftly lethal. Depending on its state, it can scald you or freeze you. In the presence of certain organic molecules, it can form carbonic acids, so nasty that they can strip the leaves from trees and eat faces off statuary. In bulk, when agitated, it can strike with fury that no human edifice could withstand. Even for those who have learned to live with it, it is an often murderous substance. We call it water. Water is strange stuff. It is formless and transparent, and yet we long to be beside it. We will travel great distances, and pay small fortunes to see it in sunshine. And even though we know it is dangerous, and drowns tens of thousands of people every year, we can't wait to frolic in it. Because water is everywhere, we tend to overlook what an extraordinary substance it is. Most liquids, when chilled, contract by about 10%. Water does too, but only down to a point. Once it is within whispering distance of freezing, it begins perversely, beguilingly, extremely improbably to expand. By the time it is solid, it is almost a tenth more voluminous than it was before. Because it expands, ice floats on water, an utterly bizarre property. And because it floats, creatures can live beneath it. Water is life and life is water. When we look for life on other planets, first we look for water. But only 3% of water on Earth is fresh. The rest contains so much salt that it's poisonous to us. Deadly poisonous. Seawater contains about 70 times more salt than we can safely metabolize. Most of Earth's water that is fresh exists as ice. The tiniest amount is found in rivers and lakes, and an even tinier amount exists as clouds. But imagine a life without rivers, lakes and clouds. Imagine a life without dihydrogen oxide.
Congratulations, Graham. That was a great concept. Who would imagine what dihydrogen oxide really was? So well done. Moving on. A Herbert Medallion for the most creative goes for Cynthia Henley Smith. Congratulations, Cynthia.
I have always enjoyed drawing, and still have one picture which I drew when I was about 4. At school, most of us liked to draw or paint people. We drew these figures facing us, but we had trouble with 2 parts. The nose was hard to draw because it stuck out toward us. Some of us just drew a line for it, but Amanda and Tony drew what we all knew a nose really looked like. We also had trouble with the feet, because they are long, but from the front they look short. That was hard to do, so we drew them long anyway. Not many of us tried to draw people sideways. Those who did had trouble with the eye, because you only see part of it. How do you draw part of an eye? I remember Wendy and John drew a whole one because that was what they knew an eye looked like. The rest of us avoided drawing people sideways. Sometimes when we drew a whole person, we would draw the body and then draw the clothes on top of it. This made the clothes look as if you could see through them, which of course you can't, but we needed a body to put the clothes on. We did the same with walls, if we wanted to show the furniture inside the house. I was not sure how you could do it any other way. We tended to draw the important person first, and then fill the page with other people or things that were not so important. These we would draw smaller. When Belinda drew the teacher, she drew the class's tiny children along the bottom of the page. I liked to add a house, the sun or rain, or flowers and trees, but the person was always bigger. Mum said I drew the hands too big, but I liked the warm hugs Mum gave me, so her hands were important to me. So was her smile that I always drew. Now that I am an adult, I find all this fascinating and can see the problems we faced as children evident in the art of past civilizations. It's strange that we need to pass through these stages of drawing what we know before we try to draw what we actually see.
Congratulations, Cynthia. I found it really quite fascinating to look at the parallels between the maturation of a child's drawings and the historical evolutionary of art. So that was really well done. And the Herbert Medallion for the best novice goes to Fiona Anderson. Congratulations, Fiona. I think this is Fiona's first AV.
If I asked you to name what is believed to have been the largest city in pre-industrial Southeast Asia, I think you'd be unlikely to answer Yasodharapura. If I told you the old city sprawled over more than 20 square kilometres and was famous for its complex and innovative hydrologic system, essential for managing the challenging monsoonal climate, as well as for agriculture, you'd probably be wondering why you hadn't heard of it before. Yasodharapura, meaning the city that maintains glory, was at one time the capital city of the Khmer Kingdom, occupied by the Khmer from the 9th to 15th centuries AD. It was also known as Angkor, capital city. What is now known as the Angkor Archaeological Park near Siem Reap, Cambodia, houses some 72 major temples and other buildings, and the remains of several hundred other minor temple sites which were part of the ancient city. Whereas these temples were built of stone, all non-religious buildings were built of perishable material and have either not survived or have been claimed by the jungle. And so it was only with the advent of modern techniques such as satellite imagery and LiDAR, which uses lasers to detect variations in topology, that the extent of the former city could be determined. The best known temple in the precinct is Angkor Wat, built between 1113 and 1150 AD. Angkor Wat remains to this day an active Buddhist temple and is a popular tourist attraction. Other temples in the precinct were, however, abandoned after the Khmer were driven from Angkor in 1431 and became overgrown by jungle. The temples were rediscovered by French explorers in the late 1800s. Today, these temples are as much a tourist attraction as the relatively pristine Angkor Wat. The twisted trees entwined in the walls and structures are captivating, having even made appearances in modern-day movies. Apsara, the government agency managing Angkor Park, faces a dilemma in managing both the temples and the trees. The trees can both damage and support the ancient temples. Their roots creep between bricks, ultimately affecting structural integrity. In some instances, the trees have become a support for the buildings, meaning the trees could not be removed without a high risk of further damage to the buildings. But the trees, of course, have finite lives and are themselves subject to the forces of nature, including droughts, floods, and storms. The majority of trees in the Angkor Park temples are kapok, strangler figs, and banyan, the latter of which can live up to 500 years. But storms damage and destabilise the trees. Branches and whole trees have fallen and pose a constant risk to the ancient buildings. A strategy to manage the vegetation is now in place. Gardeners patrol the sites, removing any weeds and new plants growing on the buildings. Because of the fragility of the stone of which the buildings are constructed, the maintenance teams work barefoot and without ropes, using only ladders and bamboo poles to scale the heights of the towers. It's a precarious and dangerous job. In 2022, it was determined that 23 trees were to be felled, with branches to be pruned from a further 128 trees, as they were deemed to be safety risks. With no new trees being allowed to grow, some existing trees being removed, and others reaching the end of their lives, visitors may be left to ponder whether they are seeing the last trees of Angkor.
Now, Fiona, I'm not sure that really could have been your first AV. It was just too good. It's really a fascinating story. So well done. Congratulations. So moving on to the three top awards. In third place for the bronze medal goes to, drum roll please, Michael Bucknell for Wingello to Burn. Congratulations. Really well done, Michael.
Wingello, a small village 2 hours south of Sydney in the Southern Highlands with 650 people. A heritage-listed railway station, village hall, rural fire station, and a general store that's also the post office, bank, newsagent, petrol station, cafe, and the beating heart of the village. Over the weekend of the 4th and 5th of January 2020, fire came to Wingello again, vaporising 6 houses, many sheds and cars. These were family homes full of prized possessions, photographs and memories. The last big fire was in 1965 when bushfires raged through Wingellow, killing 3 people and destroying 31 houses. The key message from the RFS is, when bushfires threaten, prepare, prepare, prepare. Wingellow is rebuilding and growing. The trees are coming back and most of the animals have returned.
Congratulations, Michael. Very well done. Great photography. Let's just hope we don't have too bad a summer, but things are not looking good, and it's already been fairly bad up north. So all the best of luck to everybody. Now for second place, for the silver medal, goes to Alia Norton for The Sculptor. Congratulations, Alia.
Frogner Park, also known as Vigeland Sculpture Park, is a result of one man's artistic obsession and a lifetime of work dedicated to exactly that, the human form. The park contains 212 bronze and granite sculptures created by Norwegian sculptor Gustav Vigeland, who also designed the Nobel Peace Prize medal. He worked over a period of 20 years, from 1924 to 1943, and donated his sculptures to the city of Oslo. The sculptures range in topic from representation of humans in everyday situations, such as walking, sitting, holding hands, to more symbolic subjects and highly abstract works, which represent the centerpiece of the complex. Entering the complex, the bridge's 58 bronze sculptures show a rich variety of children, women, and men of different ages. Shared themes for the sculptures on the bridge are play, lust, energy, and vitalism. Beyond the bridge, the path continues through to the fountain. In the center of the basin, 6 giants hold the large saucer-shaped vessel aloft, and from it, a curtain of water spills down around them. The men, representing different ages, may be interpreted as toiling with the burden of life. Water, a universal symbol of fertility, is used within the fountain complex in a meaningful juxtaposition with the 20 tree groups on the surrounding parapet. The tree groups represent a romantic expression of man's relationship to nature. They also form the setting for life's evolving stages, stretching from childhood and adolescence through adulthood to old age and death. The monolith, which is 14 meters high, depicts 121 human figures clinging and floating together. There's women and men of different ages, and the top of the monolith is crowned with children. The sculpture has been interpreted as a kind of vision of resurrection and our longing and striving for spirituality. The Wheel of Life is a sundial positioned at the very end of an 850-meter axis. Thematically, it continues the journey of life motive prevalent in the rest of the park. It represents eternity with 4 human figures and a baby locked in a circle, floating in harmony. Vigeland devoted the rest of his life to this everlasting legacy of his life's work.
Congratulations, Alia. It was beautiful. Beautiful photography of beautiful artworks. Really well done. And coming up to the final AV, the first place. Gold medal goes to Michael Bucknell for You Want It Darker. Congratulations, Michael. Fantastic job.
Dealer, I'm out of the game. If you are the healer, means I'm broken and lame. If thine is the glory, then mine must be the shame. You want it darker, we kill the flame. Magnified, sanctified be thy holy name. Vilified, crucified in the human frame. A million candles burning for the help that never came. You want it darker. Hey, nay, nay, nay. I'm ready, my lord. There's a lover in the story, but the story's still the same. There's a lullaby for suffering and a paradox to blame. But it's written in the scriptures and it's not some idle claim. You want it darker. we kill the flame. They're lining up the prisoners and the guards are taking aim. I struggled with some demons, they were middle class and tame. I didn't know I had permission to murder and to maim. You want it darker? Hineni, hineni, I'm ready, my lord. Magnified, sanctified be thy holy name. Vilified, crucified in the human frame. A million candles burning for the love that never came. You want it darker? We kill the flame. If you are the dealer, let me out of the game. If you are the healer, I'm broken and lame. If thine is the glory, mine must be the shame. You want it darker? Hineni, hineni. Hineni, hineni. I'm ready, my lord.
Look, Michael, what can I say? Beautiful music combined with beautiful photography to create a really compelling story. Just wonderful. So congratulations, Michael. And that's it for all of them. I now move on to some general comments from our judges. This is only a couple of minutes, so please bear with us.
As a judging panel, we felt that the standard of work overall was very impressive, a truly solid set of work. There were some excellent new concepts and ideas put forward, which made them a pleasure to judge. It was brilliant to see folk thinking outside the box. This was particularly significant with the overall winning entry, You Want It Darker, which was a unanimous winner from all three of us. The silver medal The Sculptor was a superb piece of work with excellent photography combined with an informative and interesting narration. The bronze medal Wingello to Burn was again a very strong story of hope and resilience, combined with a series of excellent photos carrying the power of perseverance. The winner of the Herbert Medal for Best Novice Entry, The Last Trees of Angkor, was very impressive, an interesting angle looking at these magnificent ruins from the tree's significance. The other two Herbert Medal winners, Creative, Not So Different, and Concept, Dihydrogen Oxide, again showed us how clever and inventive our AV makers are. Well done. As a panel, we were in total agreement with the medals and awards and were impressed with the overall quality of photography and ingeniousness of design, which made them a pleasure to judge.
Congratulations to everyone. And thank you for everyone who submitted great numbers of acceptances, terrific merits. The Herbert medallions were really well deserved. And Alia and Michael, who won the bronze, silver and gold medals, congratulations on a fantastic achievement. Good night, everybody.